Hi, today I want to talk about self-improvement. How can we improve ourselves? And what is self-improvement really about? We all hear about this thing of you should improve yourself and so on. But what is it really about? Can we do it? And how do we make it work for us? And what I'm going to talk about in this video is 4 key steps, which if you apply them in your daily life, you will find that you really will improve. So let's tune in to find out more. The problem with self-improvement, I think it's really that self-improvement has been taken over by marketing people. So if you're selling something, if you're a marketer, the easiest way to sell something is to aim for low-lying fruit. And in human beings, the low-lying fruit are things like sex, things like money, things like social status. So those 3 things, sex, money, social status, they're often used to sell you things. And what happens is you're being sold a generic idea of self-improvement. You're being sold a generic idea of success. And the problem is how will that really help you? And I think there's 2 ways of looking at self-improvement and success. And I think one approach is to say that I need to add something. You know, like these Tesla cars, they get upgrades, or just like a computer gets an upgrade or new Windows upgrade or something. The idea, I need to upgrade myself. If I upgrade myself, I'll be a success, I'll improve. And the second way, the way that I advocate, and I think is in general the best way, is the intrinsic value model. And the intrinsic value model is that I don't really have to change at all. Actually, who I really am is who I should really be. I was born the way I'm supposed to be. Now, of course, they might seem impossibly distant. But if you think about it logically, yes, we need to upgrade some of our skills and some of our abilities. If you're a salesman and you're not selling, you need to work out what you're doing wrong. If you're launching your career and you're not getting anywhere, you need to see what you have to do to fix it. If you're not doing well with relationships, you need to fix them. So certainly you need to upgrade certain aspects of yourself, but you do not need to upgrade yourself. You need to become more yourself. So what I would actually suggest is that we're born with a personal destiny. We're born the way we're meant to be. And then we pick up all sorts of impressions throughout life, and we try and then become what we're not. And the problem with trying to be what you're not is there's 2 things. Either A, you won't get success because your heart's not really in it, or you'll be a successful somebody else. You'll become somebody and you won't even know who you become. You'll find that your life is a caricature and you're not really satisfied. Even though on paper you have those 3 things. You have sex, you have money, and your social status. So what do I feel, and I think is the right direction for you to go in, or anybody to go in success? And I'm not criticizing outward success. I'm simply saying that success must be success from, toe to tip. Success must be for the whole being. And we must be satisfied with our success, okay? So there's 4 things that we need for real self-improvement. We need self-awareness. We need to monitor ourselves to get self-awareness. We need to have realistic goals, and we need to have evaluation and reevaluation. So what do I mean by this? First of all, the only way you can become successful, the only way you can improve yourself as a person, whether it's outward success or simply being happier, is by becoming more self-aware. Okay? There's very few people who achieve anything of considerable depth in life without becoming more aware. Okay? There are some people who have amazing abilities and they do amazing in a certain area, but then usually they're blind in other areas. So they might be a great singer or sports person perhaps, but the rest of their life is a mess. The other possibility, there is some people who are just born very mature and very successful, and they really are very self-aware, and they are there, but the majority of us need to work on it. So the first thing you need to do, if you want to improve your life, if you want a better life, happier life, maybe more external success, maybe more internal happiness, you need to begin by observing yourself. You need to see what's really happening. And often we lie to ourselves. Often we give ourselves soft truths, which are really soft lies. We say things like, I couldn't do it anyway, it'll never work for me, there's too much competition out there, they're prejudiced against me, I'm a minority, whatever it is. We tend to fall into that camp of excuseitis. We make excuses why we can't achieve things. Or we live in a dream world. I mean, literally think, I'm going to dream things. I'm going to be the next super successful, say, sports star, music star, rich business person. And then when you ask these people where they're at, well, they're not even playing the sports league. They don't know how to sing or dance, never learned, don't seem to be interested in learning. They say they want to be a big business person and they're running a small shop, and it doesn't look like they have any plans to do anything else. So a lot of people are just living in a dream world, and it's very easy to live in a dream world, to live in a state of denial. And, the problem with the denial is it's comforting for a while, but ultimately we have to reality check, okay? So we have to become aware. We have to reality check our lives and see, what can I achieve and what can I not achieve? Where am I really at? What skills do I have? Because nobody has all skills. What skills do I have? What skills don't I have? And play more to our strengths than our weaknesses. Because it used to be the idea that we should, build up, overcome our weaknesses. And to some degree we can, but basically most research now suggests you're better focusing on your strengths rather than wasting a lot of energy on your weaknesses, by and large, okay? So you got to see what you're dealing with. What do you have to change in your life? And to do this, we do the second thing, which is self-monitoring. We have to monitor ourselves to some degree. We have to look at ourselves to some degree and make sense of who we are and where we're at. How do we self-monitor ourselves? We self-monitor ourselves to things like diary writing. Diary writing is a brilliant idea. I'm not talking about, I was with Joanne yesterday and I was talking to John. No, not that bullshit. I'm talking about, first of all, life story. How did I get here? Who am I? What happened in my life? What was the most painful event? What was the most wonderful event? What's my biggest aspiration? What's my biggest failure? What's my biggest fear? What's my biggest goal in life? Who am I really? You start writing this stuff down about your life journey and your beliefs and who you feel resulted in you being the way you are, what circumstances. And as you do that, usually, if you've never done it before, you will have some prejudiced ideas about yourself. You will blame some other people. And the more you get into it, the more you look in yourself and write and share, the more you'll gain genuine perspectives. And when you gain these perspectives, it'll be humbling because you start realizing that at times you have failed, and you'll start realizing that maybe you're blaming people too much. Like, for example, in Western society, it's very popular to blame one's parents. And, even I did that for a bit. But then if you get a bit more mature, you kind of go, why am I blaming them? They're where they're at and they're programmed to be where they're at. And yes, I was influenced by them, but I am more than the influence of my parents, of course. So when we start doing this probing, so one thing I would suggest is diary writing. You can get into things like whether it be therapy, groups, self-development courses, meditation, whatever it is, but start reflecting on your life and start monitoring. And as I said, diary writing is very good. If you're more of an analytical person, you might like doing like a life audit or a review of your life every few months, but some people are crazy about that and some people hate it. The point is you have to do some kind of mentoring. Another kind of simple mentoring is at nighttime, just think back over the day. How was my day? And how was I in my day? Was I nice to other people? Was I present? Look at the things that angered you that day. Look at the things that made you feel hurt. Look at the things that made you feel happy. Probe them a bit and see, was I being an asshole or was I good? Am I really open to others or am I in defense mode? These sort of questions. So that's the second thing. So number one, self-awareness. Number two, you get self-awareness through some degree of self-monitoring. Number three is realistic goals. And the problem I feel that people have with goals, okay, either they're somebody else's goals, okay, which gets back to sex, money, and social status. And maybe they're not what you need, you see. You're just buying into what's being sold. It's out there. I mean, you go into the bank and they have ads with the happy mom, dad in their 30s and the happy kids who are 10 years of age, the happy parents who are 60, but not old, but not too old. You get all these endless ads advertising some ideal lifestyle, people smiling and happy. And it's not real. And it's not that it's wrong to be married and have kids and grandparents and a car or a house. It's good. But is it what you need right now? So what do you need? And so this is the first thing is you got to find out what you need to achieve. Getting back to self-monitoring and awareness, you need to understand what you can achieve. So if you got to go like, I want to be a billionaire, I think I'm ready to start. Have you got it, what it takes to be a billionaire? Have you got the business acumen? Have you got the workaholicness required? Have you got the ruthlessness required to do that? Okay. So you got to, first of all, have goals which attune with your intrinsic self, who you really are. And secondly, you have to look and think, can you achieve those goals? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go for anything, whatever you believe in, go for it. But you also have to have a certain capacity. There's two things which are required. One is confidence and the other is competence. Both must be present, equal measure. You must be confident. You can't achieve anything without confidence. But you also need a certain amount of competence with your goals. So have a think about that when you're applying your goals. And the fourth thing I want to talk about for self-improvement is evaluation and re-evaluation. So I like this concept they have in software development, POC, proof of concept. That they try something, they see what it works, is it a good idea, is it a bad idea, seem to work, proof of concept. We prove the concept it works. And then they do iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1.1, 1.2, 1.9, 2, 2.1, 2.2. They do that. And I think it's something we can put into our own lives, is that we can have a go at something. And usually when you have a go at something initially, you're kind of all over the place because you had to start somewhere. Usually where you started was probably not the best place because you have no experience. And you just get used to evaluating and taking the emotions out. Oh my God, I'm a failure. I'll never try that again. Dump that in the garbage can where it belongs. And instead go back to those basics of what did I do right, what did I do wrong, and what do I want to achieve. And I think this is one area where we should get tough with our goals. And things like, if I want to achieve something, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to worry about failure. I'm going to keep going till I win. And I really do strongly believe that if you want to achieve something in life, whether you want to become materially successful in a career or save money, or whether you want romantic relationships or inner happiness, wherever you want, you must have the willpower and the drive to push and say, I am having this, I don't care what other people think. And that's 100% good. But you also have to have the savviness to say, well, that didn't work very well. I'll have another go. What went well, what didn't go well? So we should approach our life the same way a business would approach a project, like launching a consumable or developing a software program. Why not? We're developing ourselves, okay? So Dermot 1.0, Dermot 2.0. I really do believe that we can do this, and I believe there's nothing cheesy or wrong with doing this, so long as there's some intrinsicness in there. And what I mean by intrinsicness is try and find out who you really are and what you really want, and become yourself rather than becoming somebody else. If you try to become somebody else, you either won't succeed or you won't be happy with the results. If you try to become yourself, you'll be happy with the results. So there are the 4 steps which I feel are essential to improvement in any field in life. Self-awareness, which is brought about through self-monitoring of some sort. Application of realistic goals, and evaluation and re-evaluation of whatever project you want to do or whatever you want to achieve in your life. And the final thing I'd like to say about the intrinsic goal and why I feel is important, it's very easy in the self-development field to talk about, sex, money, social status. Because everybody buys into that. Nobody buys into this finding out who you are, doing your thing. And it's tough because it's easy to say to people, make loads of money, have sexually attractive romantic partners, and have high social status. It's hard to say to people, maybe do something which other people don't approve of, maybe be reclusive, maybe be quirky, whatever. These are things that are tough, people don't want to look at. But the reality is, who you really are might not be tied into money, sex, and social status. And if you really want to improve as a human being, you really need to be open to finding out who you really are and what the real you, the deep inside little you that was there since birth, the real person that you are, what that person really needs and wants. And that's the real you, the real true self. And it might surprise you because it might be that you're going to be happier as an artist or a gardener or some traveler or something like that. So we have to be open to that. Now that doesn't mean we have to dump our responsibilities. There's nothing wrong with earning money, raising a family. This is all good. But if our true self, our true desire is maybe artistic, creative, passionate, campaigning, whatever it is, we have to satisfy that aspect to some degree. And when we align ourselves our goals and every aspect of our life with that intrinsic self, that true self, we will tend to find opportunities will open up to us because we have congruence. Every aspect of our life is congruent and we're heading in that right direction. Now, I'm also very much a pragmatist, and I do understand that, for some people that means making big choices like becoming an actor and never earning any money, or becoming a gardener, or, saving some bears in South America or something. I don't know. The point is, for some people that might result in radical decisions. But I also believe before you dump the day job and dump your family and head off to the tropics, that we also have day-to-day responsibilities. And for most of us, we don't need to go, head over heels and do something crazy. But we at least need to give some lip service to our true self and our true desires. What I mean by true desires is desires that come from within, not from without. Desires that come from the way we came into the world with a kind of a destiny or pattern, rather than desires coming from being thrown at us from other people, like advertising. Okay, that's where we get the money, sex, and social status. So if you get deep into this thing of finding out your intrinsic self, who you are, you might find it a bit shocking. You might need to do things that you didn't think about. I think for most of us, we probably won't go, full tilt into this thing. We won't drop our job and put a bandana off and head off to South America or something like that. Most of us won't do that. But we have to give at least lip service. We have to at least do some activities which harmonize with that. And the more we can get this congruence with our life, that it's not a case of, I'm here and I dream to be there because I want to be this big success and I want loads of money and I want the fame and I want... No, we just try to be more ourselves. We just try to be more ourselves all the time. We just try to be more true to ourselves all the time and become more ourselves all the time. And then automatically everything clears. Automatically opportunities come. Automatically the road of our destiny is formed and shaped before our eyes. Whether we go full into it or just do it kind of part-time because of responsibilities is a choice we have to make. But the point is, the more congruence we can get, the more easy it will be to be successful. I don't mean successful as in having loads of money in the bank, or having a beautiful romantic partner, or having a cool car or cool house. I think these are nice if you have them, but also can be distractions for a lot of people. It's more about being true to yourself and fulfilling your destiny. That's what really, really, really matters. And the more you are true to yourself, and the more you're pursuing your, let's say, soul destiny, okay? I like that word, soul destiny. Some of you guys believe in the soul, some of you don't, but I like the idea anyway. The more happy you will become, and the more successful you become. But also just remember this, that these 4 points are still very relevant, because often we find something we love, but we don't gain self-awareness about it. We don't monitor ourselves, we don't gain awareness. Maybe that right thing for us was there when we're 20 years of age, or 15 years of age, or 10 years of age, and we just packed it away. We thought we should do something else, or we didn't even know it. We actually had our life destiny in front of us, but we didn't even notice at the time. Okay, so this is where awareness comes in, monitoring, goal setting, and evaluation and reevaluation. They're the steps that will always, always help you. And that's my advice to you today regarding the 4 steps to self-improvement, which are not the garbagey steps you're going to get on most YouTube videos, but 4 steps that will stick with you and will help you in your journey towards fulfillment of your real, true destiny. Okay, hope you like that. Please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.